Hello everyone, you're watching a Microsoft QuickHit video, and today we're going to be talking about how to debug your Azure Cloud Services with IntelliTrace historical debugging. My name is Alex McClure, and I'm a Senior Application Development Specialist here at Microsoft. My job is to identify the most significant and promising application development teams in Southern California and help them partner with Microsoft to develop the highest quality applications as quickly as possible across a variety of platforms. So for those of you who are new to Azure Cloud Services and IntelliTrace, I'll take a moment to just walk through them briefly. Azure Cloud Services allow you to develop, package, and deploy your applications and services with a click of a button. You can literally scale from 1 to 1,000 servers powering those cloud services in seconds. Once your application is deployed, that's it. You don't have to worry about provisioning, load balancing, or health monitoring. Azure handles all of it for you, and it's backed by a 99.95% SLA. IntelliTrace, for those of you who don't know, is Microsoft's Visual Studio historical debugging tool. It's a feature found within Visual Studio Ultimate, and the combination of Azure Cloud Services with IntelliTrace is really the holy grail of application development. You know, as a developer, we want to be focusing on writing code, not debugging problems if or when they occur. And when they do occur, we want to be able to resolve them as quickly as possible. That's what I'm going to show you. So in particular, what challenges are we solving? Let's walk through the following scenario. So say that a user submits a ticket and says that a website doesn't work for them, but it's working for everyone else. Now, because the user already experienced this problem, it's too late to do real-time debugging. So the question is, how do you debug that event, and how do you correlate the code that was executed with the events that user was taking? Historically, or I should say traditionally, that's a challenging problem, but historical debugging with IntelliTrace solves that problem. IntelliTrace captures all of the events that have happened during the application's execution and then allows you to correlate those events with actual code. This picture that you see here depicts the events that have happened when the application has been executed, and ultimately when you click on an event and then click on debug, you can drill down into the line of code that specifically caused that to happen. So let's walk through a fast, lightweight demo so that you can see how this works. In this demonstration, I'm going to walk through two things. The first is how to create an Azure Cloud Service, and then the second is how do you debug that cloud service with IntelliTrace. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up Visual Studio, go to File, New, Project. I'm going to create a new cloud project with the type of Azure Cloud Service. I need to add the ASP.NET Web role to this service. I select OK. And this is creating a project. I'm going to use a web forms. Select OK. And Visual Studio is now communicating with Azure to create this cloud service. So for those of you who are new to cloud services, a good way to think about Azure Cloud Services, and for that matter, Azure Mobile Services, is cloud services are basically a wrapper of other Azure technologies. So this cloud service is creating the virtual machines, it's creating the staging environments, it's creating the project in my source code control. It's essentially wrapping a lot of other services that are provided for Azure. So once I've created this service, the next thing that I may want to do is modify this code. So let's say, for example, we open up our default.aspx file, and just for the sake of a very simple example, let's add a button to this web page. And we'll add some code behind logic here as well. Just for the sake of time, I'm going to copy some other code. And now I have modified my code the way that I want it. So the next thing that I want to do is actually publish my code. In order to do that, I'm going to right click on my solution, go to Publish, I select the cloud service that I want to create. I'm going to say example cloud service 4. I select the region that I want to deploy this in, click Create. I'm going to change this to a staging environment with a build configuration of debug. And in order to enable IntelliTrace, I need to click on Advanced Settings, Enable IntelliTrace. Select Next, and then click Publish. So now what Visual Studio is going to do is it's going to publish essentially this ASP.NET application for me to my cloud service. And you'll notice here that example cloud service 4 has come online. We can refresh this. And what Visual Studio is doing behind the scenes is it's deploying my application to my example cloud service staging environment. Now, this process for deploying to my new environment takes 2 or 3 minutes, but once it's finished, you would see a status notification here saying that it's completed. For the sake of time, I'm going to jump ahead to a publication that has already taken place so that I can finish walking you through the debugging experience. So let's say that I've launched this application and I can visit it by going to my application. Okay, so here's my page. There's that big old button that we added. When I click it, nothing really happens. Again, in the back end, all we did was add a trace event. But nevertheless, say we want to debug what's actually happening when we go through that process. Well, in order to do that, we need to enable IntelliTrace, and let me show you how to do that. You already saw that when we spun up this cloud service, we enabled IntelliTrace. Now, if you want to actually view the IntelliTrace logs, it's very, very easy. All you have to do is right-click on the environment and go to View. You go to the instance, right-click, and then go to View IntelliTrace Logs. Now, what that will do is it will allow you to download the IntelliTrace logs from the Azure service and then open it up in this IntelliTrace summary. The next thing that you do is go to Web Requests and you look for that web request, that user clicking the button. Now, button click is going to be a post, and so it looks like this is the correct event. If I click on Request Details, this is going to open up the entire IntelliTrace log of everything that happened in this application's execution. So if you scroll down, and remember, we're looking for something that said tracing button was pressed. So we can search for that event, which will take us here, or we can see all of the events. The reason that's useful is because there's a lot going on both before and after this button was pressed, and this is historical debugging. This view enables you to see everything that's happening within the application's execution both before and after your event. And now what becomes really powerful is having the ability to correlate this event with code. That's the power of IntelliTrace. That is the million-dollar feature, so to speak, because it enables you to debug things much, much faster. So to see the code, I click Debug this event, and instantly, right away, I'm taken to the line of code within my application that's responsible for making this event happen. That's historical debugging of an Azure Cloud Service with IntelliTrace. Here are some steps to get started. Again, to highlight and outline what we did, we created a new Azure Cloud Service, we enabled IntelliTrace, We downloaded the IntelliTrace logs, we looked for the event we were looking for, clicked Request to Details, clicked Debug this event, and that takes you to the line of code that's causing that error, or causing that event, I should say. If you want to learn more, here are 2 URLs that can help you get started. These guides and these walkthroughs go through the process we just went through in much more detail, so you'll find a lot of your questions answered there. But if you do have any questions, please feel free to email me. My email address is alex.mcclure@microsoft.com. You can view more videos like this one on my blog at microsoftappdev.com. And please do feel free to reach out. My team and I would be glad to help. This has been a Microsoft Quick Hit video. Thank you for watching and have a great rest of your day.